This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, friends. John Solberg here, your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. And I'm happy to tell you that this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. And as always, they are hand-picked out just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they're shipping out competition-quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. You may not be a competitor, but I know you still have an eye for the finer cuts. Great news, Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. And again, every bit of it's hand-picked out just for you. Now, you might be saying, John, oh, that sounds amazing, but how about something exotic? Well, rest easy knowing that the Butcher Shop can get your next elk steak or camel roast. They're going to hand-pick that out for you and ship it out promptly. So let's review. The best competition briskets? Check. The best pork selection? Check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home? Check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Mention the BBQ Central Show, and you're going to save 10% off your entire order each and every time. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australia non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. And here's what's going on in today's show. I'm going to take you back where Greg catches up on the genesis of Operation Barbecue Relief.
Greg from BBQ Central Radio Show. You're live, buddy.
Hey, Greg.
A couple minutes late. I apologize. Had a day job and couldn't get away from it today. I apologize.
I hear you. I almost barely got home from my day job.
I hear you. First and foremost, and this certainly pales into comparison to what we're about to talk about, did you know that Pork Barrel Barbecue has released the very first fragrance that has to do with barbecue and grilling called Q? What are your thoughts, and will you buy it?
You know, my wife is already begging for it. So
really,
I may have to. Yeah, she heard it and she wants a bottle. So sure, I'll buy it.
For you to wear, right? Or is it going to be for her, or for both?
You know, I just can't get enough of the smell of barbecue, so probably both.
That's right. You're damn right. You need to smell like it 24/7, especially when you're pitmaster of one of the top teams out there in the KCBS circuit. That's my guest, Jeff Stith from Big Creek Barbecue. All right, Jeff, I mentioned briefly in the open as I was rushed that sometimes we lose sight of the fact that a lot of what barbecue has been based on over many, many years, especially in competitions, and a lot of teams will only take part in competitions if what they're going to win or if they're able to raise money is going back to some type of charity. Certainly no different than kind of what you and a bunch of people were able to undertake here a couple weeks ago down in Joplin. So first of all, if we could, a little bit about, you know, the tornado, the structure damage, and everything that you guys saw. Where did the impetus come to kind of drive down there and help out?
Well, I guess it started on Sunday night after it happened. I've got some family in the Joplin area that I was concerned about, and was up till about 2 a.m. trying to find out what their situation was. They had all turned out to be okay, thankfully. The next morning, you know, I was just thinking, you know, there ought to be something that we can do. You know, the way that the barbecue family cares about everyone, and the way that we're ready to, you know, spring into action to help folks. Stan Hayes, who is with County Line Smokers, also here in Pleasant Hill, he puts on the contest with me here in town, and he and I spoke on the phone that morning on the way to work and said we got to do something. So he was going to immediately make some phone calls to his employer, Farmers, and see if we could get in, you know, next to them at where they were set up in town. And I called and spoke with Carolyn Wells at KCBS and see if she could put me in contact with some folks at Sam's Club, maybe get some donations going. And that's just kind of how the ball got started.
All right, so when you actually get down there, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was just going to say we that we put it on Facebook that we were going to do this on Monday night, and by Tuesday we had people lined up all over the place from I think we ended up having 8 states, representative people, cook teams that want to come and help us out.
So as you get down there and you start to make the trip down, obviously at some point you're coming into what is normal viewing to something that is completely, probably the likes that many of us have either never seen, probably will see, the amount of damage, devastation. What were your initial thoughts as you kind of rolled up onto the scene?
Our site was on the north edge of all the damage, and rode down with a couple friends to help Lee Keith from Sloppy the Backwoods Smokers. Rolled down there to help him cover his aunt's roof with a tarp that had a board come through it, and it was just. We weren't even in the worst area there, and it was just more than I could comprehend. The next day, when we drove some meals around and into some shelters, I went down towards where the hospital was and so forth. And I guess the way I describe it to people is you got to see, what's on TV, whatever you think of that, multiplied by 20, 30 times. I mean, you're standing there and you look around you 360 degrees and there's nothing but devastation. It's a completely hopeless feeling.
So how do you guys set up? Where do you get to kind of stage off? How many people showed up? How many cookers are showing up? How are you getting food in there? I mean, it had to be a tremendous undertaking.
Right. And you know what? To this day, I don't know how it all happened other than the goodness of people's hearts. I mean, we had delivery trucks showing up and saying, hey, I'm supposed to drop this off here, and it might be a pallet of charcoal or what have you, and, a pallet of water and so forth. But, Sam's Club, Bill Dietz with Sam's Club was very instrumental in helping us and very, very, giving in what they were able to donate to us. And we ended up getting over 7,000 pounds of pork, and various supplies from Sam's Club. And that we just go pick up 1,000 pounds at a time. They donated a refrigerated truck that we could sit on site to keep all of our cold items in, and a regular truck to keep our regular supplies in. We got OK Foods out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Excuse me. Showed up with a semi-load of 50,000 pounds of chicken.
Wow.
And so, we had the basics there. We had, a lot of folks had donated some rub. We got, I'm just, I hate to leave anybody at all out, but there's just, tons of teams and barbecue companies that donated, rub and sauce. I know we had Butchers and Cosmos and Head Country in Oklahoma, and we had Stubbs and Slabs.com and Plowboys and Oklahoma Joe's, and then the folks from Taylor Smokehouse and Tennessee came up with a bunch more rubs and the largest smoker I'd ever seen in my life. It was just amazing how it all came together and the donations that started rolling in.
Really, like some of the top teams in KCBS and in competition barbecue that you just named off, Jeff. And we're talking with Jeff Stith from Big Creek Barbecue, talking about the relief effort that they put on down in Joplin, Missouri after the tornado. Everybody just kind of seamlessly work together, or is it kind of an effort to make sure that you're coordinating everybody in the places that they need to go? Well,
it ended up being pretty seamless, but the reason it did is Will Cleaver from Sticks and Chicks Barbecue. In his real life day job, he's a project manager, and he was perfect to come in and ramrod the scene there and just make sure that everything was, everything ran smoothly. We had Randy Heimgardner from Half Sauce at Lake of the Ozarks. Gave up a good week and a half of his time, including Memorial Day weekend, of his restaurant at Lake of the Ozarks to come and help in the relief effort. And so, those two guys kind of headed the show on the ground. And then the teams came in and we estimate between 175 and 225 different folks came in from different teams to help out. And we'll eventually all have those on our website. So,
how long were you guys down there for, Jeff?
We arrived, we had the conversation on Monday morning. Stan got down there Monday afternoon, and I got down there Tuesday about lunchtime. Most of us, I mean, we had kind of a whole, I'm not sure how many people were down there the second week, but we had almost everyone was there on, say, Tuesday, Wednesday through Saturday, Sunday time period. And then we had, some other folks come in and help out as well that couldn't make it the previous week, that came in and donated their time and efforts on the following week. And we ended up pulling out of there last Saturday morning. So last Friday night, I believe it's the 3rd, was the last meals that we served.
All right, so how many cookers do you think you could account for while you were down there?
Go find out what Jeff had to say, and keep in mind, Joplin, man, remember that? Like, I saw it on the news. That was like back when I had TV. Like, that was a massive thing. And the genesis of the Operation Barbecue Relief. And head on over to the BBQ Central Show and check out the rest of the show. While you're over there listening to the show, pop over to Operation Barbecue Relief. Drop them a couple bucks. They were doing great things back then out of nothing. They're doing great things today. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I can't wait to talk to you again soon.